G'day there everyone, Daniel Anderson here. Now welcome to the Copilot for Microsoft 365 Mastermind June edition titled Prepare for Liftoff. Now we did have a little bit of a hiccup with our prepared speaker Andy Honeycutt, who had to unfortunately pull out at the last minute due to illness, both himself and his family. So we do wish Andy all the best in the recovery. So I have scrambled together and put together a session for this month's edition. We're going to stick with the title of Prepare for Liftoff, and we are going to discuss how we enhance your proficiency and streamline your operations with Copilot for Microsoft 365. Specifically, we're going to be having a look at a few different workflows, Copilot in Microsoft Word, what we can do inside of Word with our new assistant, and also a couple of end-to-end processes that you can take and adapt to your specific role. So we did have a number of people. This is a post recording of the intro because we did again have a little bit of a hiccup with the recording at the start. So I'm just re-recording this for everybody so that you don't miss the first couple of minutes of the event. All right, my name is Daniel Anderson, as I did say before. So if you do or have not connected with me online yet, there are the links or the places where you can. Open to ask me anything, ask me questions. Always looking to create some content online. Any topic, any questions, hit me up there, and I'll look forward to connecting with you there. Now onto the agenda. So we did have some housekeeping and some welcome messages for the people that were in person. Now, if you are watching this and you are in Sydney, especially next month and the month after, come and join us at the Microsoft Reactor in Sydney in person. It's a great event. We have food, we have drinks, and we have some networking after the event as well. Everybody online, we do cater for online as well via Microsoft Teams. So regardless of where you are in the world, you will have access to the live stream, but also the recording as well. So at the start, I generally go through some Copilot updates, which I'll jump into in just a second. Then we will dive into the main event, Prepare for Liftoff, where we're going to look at a number of different capabilities of Copilot in Microsoft Word, but also have a look at how we can integrate Copilot in an end-to-end process where we're taking a transcript of an all-hands meeting and then using Copilot to generate a summary and some key insights and updates from that transcript, and then creating some communication artifacts, I guess, inside of Viva Amplify, and then being able to choose your distribution channel. So whether that be email, Teams, or SharePoint, we can then create our piece of communication once, distribute it, and choose our distribution channels. We then have a look at the next Mastermind event, and we close out with some networking. So straight into, first of all, our sponsors. Now these events are free, and they wouldn't be free unless we had some support, help and support from the community as well. So Digital First Australia is our sponsor for the event. So Digital First, digital-first.com.au for all the information about Digital First there. We also like to thank the Microsoft Reactor for putting on the facilities and also the pizzas and things like that for these events. Also, if you have not subscribed to the Copilot Studio, jump over there, thecopilotstudio.com, pop your email address in, you'll receive all the updates, any news about any of the events, plus also weekly tips and tricks and use cases and things that are happening in the Copilot space so that you can take advantage of this amazing tool as well. So what's rolling out now in June? Okay, there's a number of things that I have handpicked off the Microsoft 365 roadmap that we're going to take a look at. So Outlook, accessing Copilot directly in the new Outlook for Windows and the web. So the same Microsoft Copilot experience that you do get from the Microsoft Teams app. So you know how when you're in Teams and you've got your apps on the left-hand rail there, you click on Copilot. that experience is coming directly to the new Outlook for Windows and the web as well. Using Draft with Copilot in Word based on text and list or table selection. So we're going to have a look at that a little bit later in the session. We can use Draft with Copilot with the on canvas Copilot, the little icon that we see on the canvas in the Word document, as opposed to the Copilot app in the ribbon of Copilot. We'll be able to select some text and then Draft with Copilot there. Now, meeting organizers can manage access to meeting artifacts, so things like meeting transcripts, recordings, and the AI generated recap and Copilot as well. So it's going to give meeting organizers the flexibility to manage which attendees do have access to meeting artifacts, and they can select from 3 different options. So people with existing access, organizers and co-organizers, or specific people. Now, Excel, Copilot in Excel, the chat helper. Now, I'm not a big user of Excel formulas and creating all of these pivot tables and things like that, but I have found myself using Excel a little bit more because the integration with Copilot here. So now what you're going to also get is more conversational answers to broader ranges of Excel related questions and prompts from Copilot. Not only that, it will actually help teach you the formulas and things of that nature as well. So being able to, even just simple things like concatenating columns or calculating columns and things like that, rather than having to look up the formulas, you can just ask Copilot and it will generate that for you and also show you how it got to that point. Copilot for Sales, plugin for inside of Teams meetings. So admins can now enable Copilot for Sales plugin in the plugin menu, and these plugins are toggled off by default. So users can toggle it on from the plugin menu, so that when Copilot for Sales plugin is set to on, the Copilot in Teams meetings will be able to access all the sales and Dynamics 365 data to return all of the insights that you may be after. What's in development? Well, there is a ton of things. So 83 items at the time of this recording. We're not going to go through all of them, obviously, but I have handpicked out a few that I think will bring you and are really important, that will bring you value. So Viva Goals. So for those of us that are using Viva Goals, the M365 chat plugin for Viva Goals is going to allow you to effortlessly search and pull quick summaries of all of your Teams OKRs directly from within Teams as well. The AI Hub for Microsoft Purview is going to be is a centralized location to gain all the insights into generative AI activity, including all of the sensitive data flowing and AI prompts, both from Copilot for M365 and the non-Microsoft AI applications as well. Now, around adoption, usage reports. So Microsoft Copilot with commercial data protection. So this is a new product usage report is going to be added to the admin center to provide insights into all of the active usage of Copilot with commercial data protection. Viva Learning. Copilot in Viva Learning. This is going to be interesting to see where this goes. So it's going to act as your virtual learning companion, assisting you and your users and your staff throughout the learning journey and providing personalized guidance and recommendations and the ability to take actions. Users are going to be able to leverage Copilot to preview and consume courses from Copilot search results, creating learning connections in single clicks. So there's a lot of stuff happening there. And that's where we're going to end this post-recording, because the conversation now shifts to in-person, where there has been a couple of questions from the audience, and we've got Kirsty, who is in the audience as well, just answering a few questions about Viva Learning.
Like you get into the Viva license as well, which takes it to another level, so you can actually build programs out for staff using, because it links into all the Microsoft Learn as well, so you can pull together programs, so it plugs into all over the place to be able to work with. So the new Copilot pieces come in. You've now got the Copilot kind of the learning lab that you can actually drop in as well, so you can build Copilot training as part of it. So it's a plug-in piece. Yep. So there you go.
Thank you very much, Kirsty. It is actually very cool.
Viva. You don't. It's, you've got a standard license. Viva Learning is part of a standard license. Anyone can use it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you want to
Interesting.
build programs and drop in plugins, then you need the pro version.
Subsequently to having Pluralsight and LinkedIn Learning.
So people online can have a
So that's subsequent to having corporate licenses for LinkedIn Learning and Pluralsight. Yeah. But I mean, I've got individual ones, but I can't leverage that then, can I? Maybe.
The way that it works is it's like your API plugins. So you've got different learning platforms that you could actually plug in. And if you've got a license to it, then you'll be able to then access it through Viva Learning because it's the aggregator. So you have to kind of tie them into your tenant effectively, or tie them into Viva Learning so that you can actually access them right across the Viva Learning suite to then draw from. You need the Pro Viva Learning, like the premium license, if you want to do that though. So you have to pay for the whole Viva suite. Now the Viva suite would give you, a lot of those other Viva products that you can actually draw, like goals and connections, and there's lots of things that come with the Viva suite when you purchase that to be able to get that aggregator and to get to build plans.
Yes. Any more? Yes. Name, title, role, job. Just give us a.
I'm Nathan. I work at Qantas in conversational AI. So it's effectively an LMS, learning management system. Does it have?
No.
It's not an LMS.
No. So no, it's not actually an LMS, because an LMS is a platform that you can kind of build out and have SCORM files and all sorts of stuff that you might then build out programs. It is an aggregator of those. So it's an aggregator of all different types of LMSs effectively, which could include LinkedIn Learning, Microsoft Learning, your SharePoint site. So if you're putting documentation and things into SharePoint site, you could plug your SharePoint site into it, because it is that aggregator of learning. Yep.
Correct.
Yeah, that's correct. So it's not actually an LMS. A lot of people think it's an LMS, but it's not. It's actually more of an aggregator of you. It's fabulous. Like, it absolutely brings together some amazing content from all over the place that can be very scattered, because often we have lots of different ways to be able to do our learning in a business, and it gets really spread. So Microsoft is making it one place to go inside Teams to do your learning.
And it works really well with SharePoint. So if you've got your content in SharePoint and your training materials, whatever materials it is, whether video, PowerPoint, docs, whatever, it works really well.
Yeah, videos, all sorts of things, so you've got your videos, you can have them all plugged in there, compliance type stuff, videos in SharePoint, yeah.
Yep. All right. Okay. Second last one. Getting started with just one last update, or second last update, coming in September, getting started on a draft immediately with example prompts. So this means on blank documents. So when you open up Word, it's going to provide some one-click examples. So at the moment, when you start a Word document, it's just blank. You've got the Copilot on Canvas, little icon there, but now you're going to be able to have some examples to start with. Okay, pretty good as a starting point. Say prompt share. This has a potential to be very, very good. So as we know, we want to try and gain experience and gain example prompts from everybody else that's using Copilot. It's how we learn, it's how we share, it's how we just improve how we operate with Copilot. So there is the Copilot Lab, and there is a website, a public website for that that does have example prompts. But what you are with this feature going to be able to do is you're going to be able to save your prompts that you've created to this lab as well. All right, so making them available and being able to utilize other people's prompts. So that little try in Copilot button will actually open up Copilot, and you'll be able to and try that prompt from that website as well. Okay, that's going to be great. I know there's a lot of people that are and that works really, really well is having some type of Copilot Center of Excellence type of site as part of your organization, where you can store these internal prompts and share that with your users as well, and that works really, really well. This is a little bit different. It's abstracted from your organization, but it's up at that lab as well. Okay. Automatic summary of documents on file open in Word as well. So when you open up Word, you get an automatic summary. I'm just going to fly through these a little bit quickly so we can get to the demos. Copilot OneDrive, highly requested. All right, it's going to be available in OneDrive for the web. It's going to allow you to ask questions and get info from files in your OneDrive without having to open them up as well. All right, so again, pretty highly requested feature. Should be rolling out next month. That is the roadmap. Not many people know about that. So if you don't or have not seen the roadmap, yes, take a screenshot, whatever. If you want to, I'll post that in the chat in a little bit as well. So if you do want to keep up to date with what's rolling out, what's coming, that is the Microsoft, not just for Copilot, that is for the entire suite. So you can filter by product or releases or release dates and everything like that too. So jump on there and you can keep updated. All right. Let's jump into a few. Well, it is a roadmap, and it is just a mention. It may change. Most often, most likely, it will change or get updated. So the target dates and months. The road can keep going. It could be endless. You'll notice that if you keep track of it and you try and keep updated, then Yes, it does. Yeah, it is done. It is kept up to date. Yeah. All right. Now, as I said, Will has pulled the pin, so I am going to, first of all, we're going to jump into Microsoft Word. So we're going to use Microsoft Word as our experience, and we're going to have a look at the different ways in which we can use, or a couple of different ways in which we can use Copilot in Word. So we've opened up Word. We've got a couple of different Copilot, I'll say Copilots or Copilot experiences. We've got the on canvas, which is on the canvas here inside of Word, right? So we've got this little icon. We click it and we can draft with Copilot. And we also have this option in Copilot in the top right hand in the ribbon. That gives us more, things we can ask Copilot anything about the document that we're actually in, right? So it's a different type of experience. You can, but this document, you're not going to be able to summarize this document. It's not going to give you much results because there's actually nothing on this document yet, but we'll change that. So the first experience that we're going to see is we're going to create a draft. So I've got a prompt that I've prepared, and we're going to jump in to Copilot. And as with all sort of AI stuff, we want to make sure that we review the content and everything like that the output is. So here, what we're going to do is write a detailed document as to why. So we're looking to implement SharePoint in our organization, but why do we need to do that, right? So we're going to use Copilot to give us a document for two use cases, basically, document management and as a comms platform. You know, SharePoint can do more than document management, right? It's bigger than that. So we're yes, you could. You could, yeah, you could do that. Yep.
Otherwise, you might come across as being a Microsoft spiel.
Yep, you could do that. So the business name, we're passing in the business name here as well, and we're giving it the audience that we're trying to write this for. So we need to get this across to the exec leadership team, and I want it formatted better than just text. Okay. So I'm going to click generate. As with live demos, I really hope this works. So we'll see how we go. All right, pretty good. Now we can move this across the screen as well. You can see here, it's starting to generate some stuff for us to start with. Right, so we've got an introduction. We've got a little bit about the business, all right? Because I do have this sort of stuff as part that I've got access to as part of the business. It's got some challenges. This will be interesting, what SharePoint is. Nobody can explain what SharePoint is. So we'll see what it comes back with. Yeah, pretty true. Not too bad. Yes, we've got document libraries, we've got version history, co-authoring. It's pretty good. Come on, keep going because I can't ad-lib quickly enough or long enough. Sharing, pretty good. Not too bad. Search, very underrated. Who uses SharePoint? Who searches well? Can you find stuff? You can? No? Come and speak to me and we'll set SharePoint up very, very nicely for you so you can share it, so you can search. Very sites, we've got Teams. So why are we going to use SharePoint? This is why we're going to use SharePoint. Pretty good. It's looking okay. We changed this obviously, but it gives us a really good starting point for us, okay? So once this is finished, we've got this little panel down the bottom here. So you can see here that we've got one of one. We can edit. If we're not happy with that output, we can edit our prompt here and it'll regenerate for us. Okay, so that's the prompt that we did use. We can use this option here to regenerate. If we're not happy with that, it'll use the same prompt and it'll regenerate that output for us, or we can refine it. So this little box here stays in context of this document and we can refine what the output is. So what I want to do is don't jump ahead. I've got some stuff. I've got some stuff coming. All right. So here I want to clearly separate out document management versus communication as well, and then also highlight what a content type is and how we would use that. So I'll do that. It's going to then include, well, hopefully include those bits and pieces. Okay, so we'll separate out document management from communication. It's going to spit out that content again, regenerate it, and hopefully give us some separated sections for document management and for our communication. Now, once this is done, what we're going to do also is just have a look at these dot points. We can probably visualize these a little bit better. So rather than just standard dot points, maybe we want to put these into a table or some other visual aspect. So once this is finished, so here we've got a separated out document management. We've got communications, which it's broken out into as well, based on that refined prompt or the refinement that we want to use for this particular document. Talk amongst yourselves while this gets generated. But you can see, I mean, from a draft point of view, it gets us a very, 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 very long way there, right? So it's pretty good. I mean, it's never going to be, well, it might be 100% at some point, but it's not going to be 100% right now. So we obviously need to proofread it and all of that type of thing. So here we've got that regenerated. You can see down here that now I've got 2 of 2. So I can go back to 1 of 1, and I can see if there's any changes or differences. You can see the intro is pretty similar. If I keep scrolling down, that's probably going to be fairly similar as well. But the output, you can flick between and see what the differences or what the changes or the differences in the output were. Not in this, no. Well, it's not really, yes, it's not really a version yet. So we're going to keep that. That looks pretty good. But what we might want to do is these bullet points. Let's highlight these bullet points. We'll jump down to our little Copilot on Canvas here, and we'll say, we want to visualize this as a table. So we'll click visualize this as a table, and now it's going to convert those dot points into hopefully a table for us, because we might want to present that a little bit differently. So now we've got a table instead of bullet points. Yep, looks good. We'll keep that. We can make our formats. We can make our changes. And I like it. Looks better than bullet points. Okay, we can fancy it up with our formatting the table if we wanted to as well. So that's why we're going to use SharePoint. Now, in a different scenario or a different position in the same company, what we might have is somebody else. So this is why we're going to use SharePoint, but there's somebody else that's creating more of a business plan around M365. But part of that M365 plan is to use SharePoint. So again, different user. Yes. No. The question was, can you ask it to add screenshots for each feature? The answer is no.
Second question, I'm not professional in SharePoint. And for example, I adopt that outcomes are very well. So how can I proofread? For example, can I ask it, I think you are missing one feature. What it will, please add it.
Yep. Yeah. Well,
so what will happen?
Yeah, you could add, you could refine, or can you please add any other information about X, Y, Z? Yes, you could.
Yeah, but here I don't know actually whether it's missing or not, but I can make it with self. Can you just add this? I think you are missing a feature. Can you add it?
You could ask it the question. Yeah, yes. What feature is it? What feature is it going to miss?
I don't know.
Okay. We can give it a go. We can.
Not really designed.
Could you just ask it? Could you just ask it the total number of features that
It's about
exist?
checking your work because it's not actually about
I think you
processes.
missing.
The point is, if I'm not expert in SharePoint, how can I understand that it provided correct? You just
Well, you are gonna need to do a little bit of research yourself around this.
sense.
Yep. I think you're missing information about workflows.
Yeah, okay, you know, if you're not saying, but you just keep it like this. What is your
It'll just do something different.
I don't try to say that the product is bad. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I think that would be too generic, and it wouldn't come back
If you say
with stuff.
information on the topic,
If you're told what, yeah, if you said what the topic is, then yes.
what if you say, for example, give me
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. Yeah, you could do that.
give me one
I don't know.
then you already gave.
So how many things?
Well, I specifically said document management and communication. So I specifically said that. That's why it's done those two areas. These features, yeah. Can you add 3 more features of document management in SharePoint?
See what it does.
But I mean, you might actually do something like that because you might want to beef it up a little bit for your presentation.
Yep. So yes, it's added versioning, metadata, workflows.
It's a tick.
I'd class that as a tick. Cool. Okay. Let's move across to this person here who is actually writing a business case. for M365. So as again, luck would have it, I might have a little prompt in here. We're going to use the draft. We're going to use Copilot in here, and we're going to jump this in. So can you please draft a business plan for the implementation of M365? Please add key sections for SharePoint, Teams, and Copilot. For each section, provide an intro, key benefits that they'll get. At the end of the document, please use a table to compare, etc., etc. And we will generate. So I've asked it to create a table for us.
Question.
Yep.
When you're putting that quote in,
Yep.
being polite, saying please.
Well,
You have to. Like, you're going to get a different result out of it.
I like to think so.
Say please here, you'll be more likely to say please to people in the team.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's good.
So we can see there that it's got put this in a plan, put this in a table, etc., etc. All right.
You could go and use Microsoft.com in it, or use the white paper for total economic index and do the figures.
Yeah. I mean, you're writing as you say.
But what I want to do is I want to regenerate this because it hasn't given me what I really want. All right. So
unless you meant
So hopefully now what we're going to get is a few different sections. Cool. So now it's giving me a SharePoint component. It's going to give me a summary here. So what we're going to do in the SharePoint section is I'm not going to be happy with what the output is. So what we're going to do is we're going to, where is he? He's gone, disappeared. Gone on the toilet. What we're going to do is we're going to reference that other document that I've just put together inside of this document here. Okay, so once this is done, almost there, hopefully. And then what we'll do is we'll have a look at how we can use referencing inside of, referencing another document inside of a different document. So it's putting together our sections for us. I did. Yep. I did do a regenerate because it didn't, as you can see, the first try or the first draft at this, I did ask it to give me these certain sections. So break it out into SharePoint, Teams, and Copilot. Interesting, it's pulled out the licensing from the web. I'll have to check to see if that's accurate. Maybe Grant, you can have a check to see if that E3 licensing is $32 per user per month. E5 is 57. Sounds pretty close. Anyway, that looks good. All right. So I'm going to keep that. All right. Once it's finished. Sorry? Yep. So we're going to keep this. But I'm not too happy with this SharePoint stuff. I haven't read it, but I'm not too happy with it. So, sorry?
If you wanted your dollars to be current, you would need to put some augmentation into that foundation.
Yep, you could.
You'd have to. You'd seriously have to.
You'd have to check the figures, right? You'd have to check what the output is. I wouldn't publish that without checking it. So what we're going to do here in SharePoint is we're going to delete this, okay? And inside here, can you please, what was the name of that document that I just had, which was, best choice. Use the information in this document. So what we're going to do here is use a little / here, and hopefully this brings this up, and it doesn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a bit of a cheat. I'm going to use this here. I'm going to grab the link, because what we can now do is copy the link. So I'm going to grab the link to this document. And I should be able to paste that link to this document in here, which it does. I've got that now.
Could you browse it?
Yes, you could. Yep. And outline the key benefits in table format. So we'll do that. We'll generate. Let's see what we come back with. So now it's going to use hopefully the information that's being explicitly grounded from that other document. And we've got this here. It's pulling in that table from that other document and it's merging that into this document here. So you can reference other content when you're generating and you're creating files, referencing other documents and pulling that data and that structure into that single document. Again, it's not going to be 100%. You do need to fact check. You do need to do all that sort of stuff, but think of it as your assistant and it's going to get you a long way there, okay? So that's our first, I guess, our first use case. Now, the next thing,
I guess both of documents were in the same format. But for example, if you are referring to a document that was in a different format, I mean, different font size, whatever, everything, it will convert it to the proper. Okay.
I'll show you that. That's the next thing we're going to do. And this similar type of scenario where we've got a structured document that we want to follow, and I am in the wrong browser. So we've got a statement of work. And this, statement of work, an SOP. So we've got an SOP here that's been written for creating SharePoint sites, assigning members and owners and things like that for our support team. It's got the structure that we want. Okay, it's pretty simple, but it's got the structure that we want. Now we've also got some notes. So we've got some notes in another document that I've got here. And this is all it is, right? But I need an SOP written based on the structure of the SharePoint one that I've got. I need that written for Microsoft Teams. So these are the steps roughly outlined in this type of format, okay? These are what we need to cover. These are the steps, but I want to kind of merge the two. So what we can do is now, if I am in the right user, which I think I am right now, I am going to go to my OneDrive, I think, and I'm going to create a new file. I think I'm in the right user. Bear with me. I'll put this together today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draft with Copilot. So again, here we're going to reference two documents here. So we're going to reference, can you write a standard, an SOP for the creation of a new Microsoft team? It should follow the same structure and formatting. Sorry, this Crestron is telling me it's rebooting. I'm hoping it's not going to do stuff. Can you follow the same structure and the formatting of here? What I should be able to do is write out whatever that document is called, which will be SharePoint site. So I can start writing in here. SharePoint site. That's actually not going to be right, is it? Of course it's not. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to grab the link to that document, and I'm going to copy this link. Just give me a sec. And I'm going to paste that link into here, I hope. And the notes are going to come from... That's not it. That's not it. I am going to change user. Just give me a second because I'm going to use a different user. All right. Let me do that again. I'm going to copy. I'm going to paste. I'm going to try this again. There it is, different user. So formatting of this document and the notes from what was called Microsoft Teams. There it is there. So I'm going to merge the two. Add descriptive content from the web, and I can point to support.microsoft.com here. So I can reach out to support.microsoft.com and use that as reference as well to add some additional descriptive content as well as these two documents. So let's generate that. So what this should do is use a similar or fairly close format to that SharePoint one, but also again we've got purpose, we've got scope, and we should have different responsibilities. And then we should jump into the different areas of creating a team. It's pulling this information from support.microsoft.com, so how to do it. It's giving us that. Again, we would need to check this, obviously. Assigning members, how do we do that? Again, going out, but it's the structure that we've got from the other document that we're using, and it's reaching out to support.microsoft.com, but also using those areas that I highlighted in my notes, and it's giving us that structure and that procedure. So again, it's getting us a hell of a long way there. All right, so if I scroll back up to the top, we've got the scope, we've got the different areas, but we could, like we saw before, refine this if we wanted to, regenerate it if we wanted to, add certain sections if we wanted to, but that looks pretty good. I'm going to keep it. So again, that just shows merging two different types of documents, different formats, notes, structured document, combining the two to write, in this case, an SOP, all right? Good. Now, let's do a little bit more. So, what we're now going to do is it's your role, I guess it's your role as an internal comms person. So we all have all company meetings and all hands and that type of thing. We're hopefully using Teams. And what we might have is the recordings of these. So we're going to use the transcript. and drag this across. Here's our intranet. Here's our town hall meeting, our June town hall meeting, right? So we've got a document library in SharePoint where we're storing all the transcripts. We're going to grab the documents. We're going to download these transcripts. We're going to store them in a document library. So we've got a maybe I don't. I'll come back to that. So anyway, we've got our town hall meeting. Look, we can play it directly, etc., etc. But what we really want is we want that's not really a town hall meeting, by the way. We've got a transcript here that we've generated in stream. Now we can download this transcript as a document. So I'm going to download this as a document. Downloads it as a Word doc. Now what we can do is I'm going to upload that Word doc into a document library. Now I know why it's not there, because I'm in the wrong tenant. So I'm going to have to flick over to this one, and I do have somewhere a folder for our transcripts. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to upload this transcript file into that document, into that library. So uploading that into SharePoint. So now, I mean, it's what we want to do is we want to provide I guess a detailed update, pull out the key items or the key areas that were presented in that particular town hall, and then create some artifacts to distribute out to the organisation. So from a comms channel, it could be SharePoint, could be email, could be Teams, could be a number of different communication channels that we do have that we might want to facilitate here. So we're going to combine this Copilot with something that's called Viva Amplify. So what Viva Amplify can do is we can create publications, we can create communication campaigns, and we can choose the distribution channels that we distribute that piece of information to. So we create it once, we distribute it or choose to distribute it across different channels. Everybody works differently. Some people work in Outlook, some people work in Teams, some people like reading information on SharePoint. So we want to try and cover all bases and meet people where they work. So now we've got this document here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new document. Not a new folder, a new document. And again, we are going to be using Word. And I'm going to use draft again. I'll pop in my prompt. Can you write a detailed recap of the June town hall meeting using the following transcript for reference? So it's going to be that document that I've just uploaded. So I'm just going to grab the link to this. You could reference it. Actually, let's see if it's found it yet. So we'll go to June. Not yet, because it's super brand new. So I'm just going to grab the link. Create this. I'm just going to pop the link in here. We're just going to determine and say the presenter's Grant, CEO of Digital First. He's the one that ran the meeting. Please include a section called What You Need to Know and list all the bullet points, key insights and takeaways, format in a way that's easy to read, etc., etc. And please use it. And this can be important as well. If you've got a company brand or a company tone or things like that, you can reference and determine, well, try and educate and look at the tone of the output. So I want to use the tone that is presented and represented in the transcript that was pulled down from that town hall meeting. Okay. Well, it didn't before. It's pretty smart. Okay, you can have spelling mistakes and things like that. So it is pretty smart. All right, so let's use tone from the reference. Let's just add a little bit of fun as well, okay? So we're going to generate that. Hopefully it's going to give us our news article that we're going to use to distribute, all right? Maybe we don't want to, people don't want to sit through an entire town hall meeting or things like that. Now, remembering that the recording is not a town hall meeting, it's a recording about something else. So the content here doesn't look like a town hall meeting content. I get it. So I've got an intro, which is actually extremely accurate. What you need to know, so it's pulled out these the key points. Because that video actually did some demos, it's actually pulled out the demo information from the transcript as well. So these are the key areas of the demo that Jeremy did with me: meeting catch-ups, web grounding and document generation. So it's pulling out this information here. Gives us a conclusion. Looks pretty good. Now we could, if it's too long, we could actually just say, can you shorten this and, do that type of thing. But I think that's pretty good. So we're going to keep that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to copy this. So we're just going to copy everything in here, because what we're going to do is we're going to jump across to Viva Amplify. Okay, so as part of the Viva suite, we do have this thing that we call Viva Amplify. We can create communication campaigns and publications inside of that that campaign. So I'm going to create a new campaign. I'll create a newsletter. It's going to look pretty familiar to those of you that are using SharePoint. All right. So it's going to create like a little cut down little version of a SharePoint page. And what you'll see in a minute, or here when you're used to adding all your web parts, you see that it's cut down. So we don't get the entire web part gallery here, okay? Now, what we do have though are our distribution channels. So what it's going to actually do is actually create an email, a SharePoint news post, and a Teams message that gets automatically posted to the teams that we do specify, and the SharePoint site that we do specify, and also a distribution list of people that we specify for Outlook. This one comes with a template. I don't know who that is. I'm going to delete. I'm going to delete. I'll just leave. No, I'll leave these in there. Not relevant to us, but I'll leave it in there. But now what we can do is just go copy paste. Grab this as the title. Like this. Just touch up a little bit of formatting here.
Viva license. It's the employee experience license. What comes up that now?
Internal comms people love this. Love it.
Just push it out automatically across all the channels, wherever you need to go.
Anyway, that'll do us for that, okay? So we've done our formatting, everything like that. So now what we've done, we've taken a transcript, grabbed it, created a recap, pulled out all the highlights, and now created a piece of communication, one piece that we can now choose to distribute wherever we want to. Let's have a preview of that in Outlook. What's it going to look like in Outlook? So I'll have a preview. You can see that we're previewing this. So that was a SharePoint page, right? Browser. This is how it's going to look in the email. You can see that it's a really nice, responsive type of layout inside of Outlook, inside of email, formatted in a way that is really easy to use. So if you're on your mobile phone or anything like that, it's a really nice experience and a really good, the way that it lays out the content is really nice. So that's in Outlook. SharePoint, it's going to look like your SharePoint page. And then you can also post it to Teams as a Teams message, as a Teams post. So again, you can see here, you lose a little bit of the, the title area and things like that, but you can see that you've got a nice looking post there to add to Teams. Now, what's pretty cool about Viva Amplify here in your channels is you can customize the output. So if I'm in Outlook and I want to write a little intro or blurb or something like that above this or included in it or something like that, you can customize that email that goes out as opposed to what it does in the on the SharePoint page. And the same thing with Teams. So you can see here that we can change or we can add or we can do things to the email and it doesn't affect what happens on the other channels. All right. So we can add our recipients. We might have maybe an old company email here that we could distribute that to. Send a test to ourselves. We'll do that. SharePoint, from this channel, we can add our SharePoint sites. We can add up to 10. All right. So if we pop this into the landing, which is our intranet, we've got that. We're going to post it to that site. Teams, we might add a Teams. Let's go to Mark 8 project team. We'll just choose that. We've got the option to make it an announcement. So I've got some settings here. Let's announce it. And this is where you could customize that with the background and a heading and things like that. All right. So we can use, let's just go June all hands recap. Do that. It's going to post it to there. It's going to be an announcement. Everyone can reply, or only monitors, or only you and the moderators can reply. We'll leave it as that. Then what we can do, now that we've got all that set up, is we can publish now. We can schedule to publish, or we can approve it. So if it needs to go through an approval process, we can do that. Let's just publish it now. See what happens. Hopefully. Here we go. So here's our summary. Here's our distribution channels. We're going to Outlook. We can see who it's being sent to. We can see the SharePoint sites that it's being published to, and we can also see the team that it is being published to as a post as well. So we'll publish that. That's going to whir away in the background. Let's get set up and we'll get sorted. We're on the landing. I think I've got a news article, a news web part on here somewhere. Maybe. Here it is. So in a second, once that's published, it should appear there. Then I'll jump into Teams. I'll open up Teams. I'll also open up my email. A little test message should have, there it is. There's a test message.
Oh.
So we'll jump across into this, and there's the email that comes through. So you can see that it's really nicely formatted inside the client there as well, rather than just a simple test message. Okay, and that's interesting. Oh, that was Viva engaged email. Okay, we'll jump across into SharePoint. Let's just refresh this. Hopefully this has been done now. We can jump back into here and see posted. That's all good. We'll jump to the landing. Our news article should be here. There it is there, automatically added to the homepage of the intranet. We'll open it up. There's your experience. There's the page that we created. Last spot is our Teams. So you can pick and choose what channel you publish this to, right? And there's the Teams post. There's the heading. And there is all our content from that. So all of a sudden, that end-to-end process from a team, from an all-hands company meeting, into a recap, into bullet points, into summary, into publishing that to the rest of the organisation, sort of taken, rather than sitting through a whole meeting and writing notes and everything like that. It's all of a sudden being constricted to hardly any time at all. Okay.
Next question.
You can.
So
I'm going to pass you the microphone. And your name is?
Lex.
Lex, how are you, Lex?
I'm very well, thank you. You referenced a link to
yes.
a document, but on the prompt it had where you can put an attachment in. Is there any difference?
No, it's
going this way or that way?
It's just a different way of.
Oh, okay.
So if I jump, that's the wrong one. Let me just jump into a tenant that's got Copilot. Just give me a sec. I think it's this one. So in this experience here, for example, oh, where's it gone?
Yeah.
Gotta love live. There we go. All right. So in here where we can go reference your content, this one here. So what you can do here is you can either browse content. It's the same thing.
Okay.
You're just accessing your files. And sometimes, I mean, see how you've only got 3 files that are referenced there? Like your most recent, see how they're the most recent files that I've accessed? Yeah. So that one's there. Now, the difference here on the right-hand side when you've got Copilot here is what you can do and the difference here. You can see that there's no, let's say I want to reference, I can't remember, hang on, who am I logged in as? I actually can't remember who I'm logged in as. Okay, so in this part here, I'm going to scroll down and it's got nothing to do with this document, this June town hall. But here, what we can say is we can reference people. So if you don't know if what the document was called, but you know the person that sent it to you, can you please give me a summary of SharePoint SOP that, sorry, Daniel, I'll jump over to people here, see how I've got all files and people. So I can say that Daniel sent me. Can't be bothered looking for the file, but it's going to find a document that the other Daniel has sent this Daniel around that document. Right, so what it's going to do here on the right-hand side, you don't get that experience on the on canvas. So you can see there that it's giving me a summary of the document, but it's also giving me the references or a reference to where that information was pulled from. So if it was, it could be across. Now I haven't sent that Daniel, this Daniel, an email about that Daniel's document about this Daniel's requirements around SharePoint, but if it was an email or a Teams message or something like that, it would pull all of that content together and it'll show you the references and where it pulled that content from. Okay. Pretty powerful, pretty cool. Yeah.
Stephen Simmons. This is really quite impressive and it's always great to get demos of what can be done. This is a 2-part question.
As long as it's not too hard.
No. The first one is, can we access a recording? Because traditionally, I go to Meetup and I never find the recording.
The recording? Yeah, absolutely. I send it out. Have you registered?
I have registered and I never find the recordings when I look for them on Meetup.
It's also on YouTube. I'll send it to you. I'll personally send you the recording.
Right. And I'll look for it as well on Meetup. The second part
on Meetup, no, not on Meetup. I'll send it from me.
Well, this is what I'm saying. When you go to Meetup to engage,
yes,
then you look for a recording, you never find one.
Okay. I'll give you a simple answer. Go to.
The answer is don't go to Meetup.
No, you don't go to Meetup. Go to this.
But for every different Meetup, do I have to ask the same question?
I don't know what the others do.
Only for you.
Yes. You can ask Kirsty. Kirsty does this as well.
Kirsty, how about your presentation a few weeks back? Where will I find it?
Right here.
So whenever I do my user group, I put the comment, I put where it is in chat.
Let's face it, this takes a little bit of digging around.
I put mine on Meetup in comments for it as well as.
No, it doesn't, because I send out the recording to everybody that's registered via email.
I have been to yours in the past and I've never received one.
Okay. Check your junk. 100% goes out.
Yeah, I did it.
We will test it. We will test it.
Yep.
No, it's good because it's always good to have these demonstrations because it's not about how you can catch it out. It's about how you can actually make some value out of it. Absolutely. And there are some things there where you did the previews where it wasn't that easy or it was too quick for me to work it out, ... The second part of the question is when you're talking about Viva Engage.
Yep. Viva Amplify
This
or
is
Viva
for
Engage?
internal company communications.
Viva Engage, yes.
Used to be Yammer.
Used to be Yammer, yes.
So you're looking at an example. Your example was a town hall.
Yep.
Now I've been to plenty of town halls in my time. Absolutely. Now I guess this generating is predicated on a good interpretation of the meaning behind what's been said in the town hall. So if what's been said is a bit left field and it's been trained on town halls that are fairly standard for fairly standard organizations that do fairly standard stuff, and it's a little bit different, the meeting might be missed. So I guess I'm expecting that you would probably be best doing a good solid proofread of that.
Yeah, it's the transcript of what the meeting was. Yeah.
No, it's not a transcript.
Yes,
What you did there was not a transcript.
Yes, it was.
What you did there was a summarization of the
No.
transcript.
Yeah, from that document. So I grounded it in the transcript.
So
of the
summarizing might be a bit of an art for a normal person and a bit harder for a Copilot if the town hall was a non-standard town hall, for example.
Well, it was just an example of a meeting. So a town hall is just a meeting, right?
Certainly.
So the transcript is actually what was said in the meeting. So it's summarizing the document
Transcript
of the
is,
transcript.
but the summary isn't.
Why is that?
Because the summary is an interpretation of the transcript.
It's a summary of the content out of that document, correct?
Caveat emptor.
Sorry?
Caveat emptor.
What does that mean?
Buyer beware. Be careful.
I don't understand what you're suggesting there.
No, I'm just a little bit confused as to what you're saying, that's all.
Okay. No, that's actually a very good illustration where you have got town halls that are very standard from very standard companies. I've been to a lot of them, certainly.
Are you saying AI can make up the summarization of the transcript, which could be not factual? Is that what you're trying to suggest?
Absolutely. Why not? Absolutely. Why not? Why not could it be non-factual? Because you're attempting to interpret.
No, it's summarizing the content of the transcript. It's not going off and doing anything.
Daniel, I'd be slightly more cautious if I was you.
Well, absolutely. You have to proofread any response, but it's not going to go off and make up its own mind about the summary of that document. I would argue that it wouldn't do that. It might be wrong, but the caveat is proofread everything. I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't send anything, even anything that Copilot generates to send out straight away. I wouldn't do that. Case in point. Okay, that's all I've got. There is pizza. There are drinks for everybody in here. Everybody online, I'm sorry. You're not going to be able to smell it through the camera. But thanks everybody for turning up online. Now actually while I've got this screen up, next month is going to be in person. So Lee Stevens recently moved out from New Zealand, currently based in Brisbane, flying down. We've got a conference. There's a digital workplace conference in Sydney on the 31st and the 1st. We're both presenting at that. If you do turn up in person, there is going to be potentially some free tickets to give away, which are worth I think it's around $1,000 or something. So I will have those, but that will be 100% in person, presenters in person, etc. So it'll be on the Tuesday though, so it'll be a different day, not on the Wednesday. All right. So that will be there, and the registrations will open up for that very, very shortly. The recording will be posted on YouTube, on the website, and via email, 3 places. So if you are registered, that'll come out via email. I will post it also on LinkedIn via that page too. That'll be all done and sent out. If you do have any questions, please do feel free to reach me on any of those channels that we saw before. I'll just pop up that slide somewhere. I'll go back to that one. So if you do want to ask any questions, or if you've got a topic or anything like that that you want covered, even if it's not in one of these sessions, even if it's something, I'm always looking for content to publish. So give me a shout if you've got anything that you want covered. But thanks everyone. Thanks for coming. Thanks in person. Thanks online.